Hey everyone, it's Michelle. I'm currently filming on my phone. If you feel like my video is looking a little bit different right now, my usual camera is not functioning well, so I did have to resort to what all the cool kids are doing, filming on my smartphone. Anyways, let's get on to the video topic at hand, which is my current nighttime skincare routine during these cold, dry winter months. I haven't uploaded a nighttime skincare routine since the beginning of this year, and that was my baseline skincare routine. So the must-haves I must have in my nighttime skincare routine, it's pretty much been just that, frankly, with the occasional swap of an active. But with this winter month, I definitely had to revamp what I'm doing, especially because I noticed dehydration creeping back into my life. Before we get into the routine itself, I just want to touch upon a few things so you have a better understanding of my skin and how I curated this nighttime skincare routine. So first things first, I am in my early 30s. I am turning 33 this month. I am a December baby. The reason I mention my age is because generally when we approach our 30s, our skin is not the most optimal when regulating its natural moisturizing factors. It's actually more prone to dryness and dehydration. Second thing is my skin type. It has changed, and I will make an official announcement here in this video. So for the past few years, I've been saying I am not only acne prone, but I am normal to dry. That this shift in skin type happened in my mid-20s, where I noticed my skin was at its most dehydrated, most dry state, where no type of moisturizer would last on my skin. The past couple of months, I have spoken with 3 different skin experts, one being a facialist or medical esthetician. I didn't catch her actual profession, an actual medical esthetician that I'm related to, and thirdly, a dermatologist. All 3 of them have said my skin is primarily an oily skin type with a dehydrated skin condition. As the days have passed since being told multiple times that I'm of an oily, dehydrated skin type, I see it more and more on my skin. This past year, I've been able to survive on the basics, and I haven't really gotten that painful, tight, dehydrated feeling. I've actually been able to go a good chunk of this year just using a gel cream moisturizer. That's something I haven't been able to do in a very long time. I always had to use some type of heavy duty moisturizer and also hydrating layers. Since I am inside more, I'm not putting on sunscreen as much, frankly, because the UV index has been less than 1. It's been cloudy outside, very gloomy, except for today, which I will be going outside soon and wearing sunscreen for that matter. But anyways, because I've been so simple with my skincare routine and have been using a more lightweight moisturizer than the go-to I have been using, which is the Bioderma Intensive Balm, I have noticed that my skin has been oily, that after a few hours of doing skincare, oils have been popping up on my skin. So more and more it's been validated that I am primarily of an oily skin type. This brings me on to the third thing I want to mention before getting into the routine itself, which is a disclaimer. I did get a skin booster a couple of weeks ago to help with the painful, tight, dehydrated feeling I started experiencing once again. I'll leave a link to that video in the description box down below if you're interested in hearing about it in further detail. But basically, the dermatologist injected an ampule all over my face and neck, which immediately relieved that painful dehydration I was experiencing. And as a result, I've also noticed visibly that my skin plumped out. Depending on how dehydrated my skin still is, it may last for around a month, in which case I can go back to do it again if I so choose. After getting the skin booster, I have been reflecting on what it is I did wrong in my skincare routine that caused such painful dehydration to return. Because like I said, I've been very basic with my skincare routine since last year. I was just using cleanser, moisturizer, SPF as needed when, you know, the weather called for it, and barely needed these hydrating layers. And it was only when I went to Canada to visit that I felt like I needed a lot of stuff on my skin because it was just so dry and I was getting by without a humidifier. Big mistake, and that's actually one of the big mistakes I've noticed. Once the temperature dropped, once the humidity dropped and we were turning on the heat, I did not have a humidifier running, and as a result, my environment was not set up for success and it caused my skin to become more dry. Add to the fact that I've been using an active multiple times a day and I did not realize that it sensitized my skin to the point that it was causing more dehydration. Frankly, if I just addressed these problems accordingly, I probably didn't have to dish out the money to get a skin booster and I would not have experienced such pain, tight dehydration. Be as it may, I did spend the money, got immediate relief of dehydration and just a nice glowy, plumper skin as a result. So I don't regret getting the skin booster. I think it was money well spent, and it is supposed to help with the while aging process in general. There were other components in that booster to help with our skin's natural collagen production. With that said, I may get another one in the future. I just don't want to have to rely on it for alleviating any dehydration I feel in my skin. Now let's move on to the skincare routine at hand. Even though my skin feels fairly hydrated, it's not 100% foolproof, the skin booster. I still need to make sure that I have a nice regulated humid environment, and I also need to make sure that the skincare I'm doing does not contribute to any further dehydration or dryness. It really needs to respect my skin for what it is, an oily skin type. As such, I needed to shift around a couple of products to make sure my skin doesn't experience any congestion, which is what I've been noticing lately. Actually, my nose, the sebaceous filaments, looking oxidized, black dots all over if I'm not careful. And I've noticed above my mouth and below it that there's a lot more whiteheads than usual. So definitely had to adjust my skincare routine accordingly to make sure it doesn't become over congested. All right, now that I made an official update on my skin type, let's move on to my nighttime skincare routine. Starting off with the cleansing step, I do still do a double cleanse depending on what I've done that day with my skincare routine, essentially. If I'm wearing a water resistant sunscreen, if I went out and about, if I put on makeup that day, I will most definitely do a double cleanse. But if I stayed at home most of the day, I will probably skip a first cleanse and just go in with my gel cleanser. But in this video, I will be showing you the full skincare routine, all the possible steps I could be doing at night. This isn't a lazy girl skincare routine. So having said that, let's start off with the first cleanse of the double cleanse step. I switch between a micellar water and a cold cream. This is nothing new on my channel, the Bioderma Sensibio H2O micellar water. I'm still going with the purchase I made back in 2022. This was definitely money well spent. I will use the micellar water on most nights. What I do is just soak a cotton pad really well and use a light hand to wipe my face and neck. The nights that I am not using the micellar water are the nights that when I shower, and that's when I will reach for the Pond's Cold Cream Makeup Remover. I picked this up while I was in Canada beginning of this year, last year for the holiday season, because within the first week of being in Canada, my skin was flaking like a lizard, and instead of doing the knee-jerk reaction of needing to exfoliate my skin off, I decided to pick up the Pond's Cold Cream. Once again, this is actually a repurchase, and massage my face with this, using the moisture to gently buff away that flaky skin. And then I would take a damp cloth and wipe my face and neck to further gently exfoliate my skin. But this would still replenish my skin with moisture. That's what I like about this. It's also very affordable as well, less than $10. At least I hope it's still less than $10. How I use this, however, when it comes to showering at night is that I will apply a good layer of this all over my face and neck and hop in the shower, do my thing. What this does is just coat my skin with moisture and prevent any excess transepidermal water loss. I'm sure like many of you, we take a pretty hot shower during the colder months, but I always make sure I bring myself to hell and back. I always decrease the water temperature as my shower progresses to lukewarm, but I always need to get into the shower when it's scorching hot. Once I get out of the shower, I will remove this with a reusable microfiber round. I'll soak it with lukewarm water and just wipe all over my face and neck. If I was doing a lazy girl nighttime skincare routine, technically, Pond's Cold Cream maybe some moisturizer on top, and call it a night. But this isn't a lazy nighttime skincare routine. This is a full Monty skincare routine. So let's go into the second cleanse that I do at night, which is using a gel cleanser. So this one was recommended to me by my mother-in-law, and actually throughout the years, now that I think about it, I've been recommended a Vichy cleanser so many times that it's about time that I finally had one in my skincare routine. I did have one a few years ago. It was the Normaderm one. I got it sent in PR. It contains salicylic acid. Really nice, low pH, made my skin feel very comfortable, did not irritate my skin in any way. I actually gave that one to my skin because I believe I had another BHA product at the time. My sister still uses that cleanser to this day. She keeps repurchasing it and uses it in her nighttime skincare routine a few times a week. I figured since I already had a good experience with that Vichy cleanser and I've been recommended to use one so many times throughout the years, I figured that this one would perform well in my skincare routine, and it most definitely has. So how I use this after the first cleanse is, while my face is damp and my hands are damp, I'll take half a pump or less. You really don't need a lot of this cleanser. I will lather it in my hands and then firstly focus on the most congested areas of my skin, or the most congestion prone areas of my skin, which is primarily the T-zone. So I'll start with my nose, work my way up on the forehead, move to my mouth area and my chin, and then I will continue on my jawline, saving my eye area, cheeks, and neck for last. And I always make sure I cleanse within 60 seconds or even 30 seconds if I can. I don't want to over cleanse my skin because then I will just strip my skin barrier even more. Cleansing is definitely the most skin barrier stripping part of our routine. So you always want to make sure that you have a good cleanser and you are using it properly. I should probably do a separate video on cleansing in general and how to cleanse the skin properly. It really is such an important step in the skincare routine, arguably the most important step. Anyways, after 30 or 60 seconds, I will then rinse my skin and pat my face dry with a clean facial towel, but not 100% dry. I still want my skin to feel somewhat damp. I want to make sure that whatever skincare I follow up with can actually move around my skin more easily. I find when my skin is damp, I don't need to use as much product. That's it for my cleansing step. Now moving on to the second part of my nighttime skincare routine, and that is the hydration step. Now this part I can technically skip in my nighttime skincare routine, but when my skin is more prone to dehydration, I do like a little extra cushion. The hydrating layers I started using in my nighttime skincare routine are from Jordan Samuel Skin. I purchased the Hydrate the Mist and the Hydrate Facial Serum during the Black Friday sales. The facial mist is a repurchase. The serum is something new that I'm trying. But what attracted me to these products, this one in particular, I've been daydreaming about using it again. It's one of my favorite mists of all time. Anytime I had a mist in my skincare collection, I always compared it to Jordan Samuel Skin's Hydrate the Mist. So I'm really happy to have repurchased this once again. What I like about these products so far in my skincare routine is how lightweight they are, yet so hydrating. My skin definitely feels like it's been quenched of thirst when I use them. In addition, they are both soothing. If I ever feel like my skin is dehydrated throughout the day or just a little bit irritated, I know I can always rely on this mist to do the trick and calm my skin down. I also find for the drier times of year, it's good to add in an additional hydrating, soothing serum, especially on nights when I am using my prescription strength tretinoin. This strength is at 0.1% and it's Retin-A micro. How I use these is after cleansing, after I pat dry my skin with a clean towel, I will spritz my face with Hydrate the Mist a few times all over my face and neck, and just pat my skin to make sure it absorbs. Once the mist feels like it's settled on my skin, then I'll follow up quickly with the hydrating facial serum. I take about 2 pumps and spread it evenly all over my face and neck, and then once again pat my skin until I feel like the serum has settled. After the hydrating steps, that's when I would follow up with my tretinoin prescription, which I use only 1 to 3 times a week. I find with a lowered weekly usage that my skin has been a lot happier. It actually has been feeling less dry, less parched, less irritated in general. So 1 to 3 times a week is definitely a happy spot for my skin. I haven't been using my prescription lately because I have been getting a Bio Repeel facial. It is 35% TCA. It's a surprisingly really gentle peel to do, and I found it very suitable for after the summer months to just really brighten and even my complexion. It's also a bonus that it smooths out my skin in such a way that any residing acne scars are not as prominent. It also makes my pores look really good. So very happy with that peel. 10 out of 10, would do it again. I did my second peel yesterday, and I did mention in my previous video on de-influencing myself that I would go up to 3, but the dermatologist said that 2 was fine and I'm good to go. Once I apply Tretinoin, that's when I will go into my nighttime moisturizer, which is the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Baume B5+. This is my 3rd tube, and as such, I will claim it as a holy grail. I don't really like stating that something is a holy grail unless I've purchased it enough times to validate it as such. This is my 3rd purchase of the B5+. Therefore, it is a holy grail from here on out in my skincare collection. I did a full review on the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Baume B5+. If you are interested in that, I will leave a link to it in the cards down below. I also touch upon the B5, the regular one before it got reformulated, and how it compares, and my experience with that one prior to using this. In short, what I love about the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Baume B5+ is that it is an emollient, soothing, antioxidant, wound healing product that also helps to support my skin's microbiome and just strengthen my skin barrier in general. When it comes to nighttime, that's when our body is in rest and repair mode. It only makes sense that this serves as a nighttime cream. I can actually use this in the day provided I do a thin layer, but at night I do like to go a little bit heavier with the moisturizer, and as such, I just use this. Considering it's been a year since I reviewed the Cicaplast Baume B5+, this is my 3rd tube I purchased. I should probably do an updated video sharing my thoughts on this in general and an update on how I use this product in particular. So stay tuned for that video as well. The list of videos just keeps on growing. Nighttime regenerative cream has been applied, and after that I will go in with an occlusive. It is not a winter nighttime skincare routine without slugging, in which case I will go in with some type of petrolatum based product. I have Vaseline right here. My sister left this in my possession when she came to visit. She really cleaned it out, so I thought I would finish up the tub. This is another video that I should probably make, which is all about slugging, using an occlusive in your nighttime skincare routine and the multiple ways that you can use it. But for this video, how I would use it is take about a pea-size amount, not even, sometimes even a grain of rice amount is more than sufficient to layer on top of my skincare. I will just take a tiny amount, rub it in my hands, and once I feel like the petroleum jelly has spread sufficiently on my fingers, I will then pat all over my face and neck, really focusing on the most dehydration prone areas, which is under my eyes, nasolabial folds, and forehead. If I said slugging was the last step of my nighttime skincare routine, that's not true. The real last step of my nighttime skincare routine is using castor oil on my eyelashes and eyebrows. So last year in my slow skincare routine for the night, I said I wanted to be like Jennifer Myers and consistently use castor oil in my nighttime skincare routine. Well, that did not work out at all. And that is because of the way I was using the castor oil. I was using a spoolie to sufficiently coat my eyelashes and eyebrows, and I feel like I was using too much castor oil because I didn't notice my eyes were stinging with every use. So I did take a break from that until my eyes felt back to normal, and I reintroduced this on occasion back into my nighttime skincare routine. So instead of really soaking a spoolie and just really coating my lashes, what I do instead is just take a couple of drops of this castor oil, rub it between my fingers, and then gently massage it on my lashes, down and up and in between, and do the same thing with my eyebrows. That's it for my nighttime skincare routine in terms of all the facial products I use, but remember to have a humidifier on hand keep it on, especially if you are running the heat. It is important to make sure you set up your environment for success. I personally like to make sure the humidity in my bedroom is between 50 to 60%. As always, I hope you find content like this helpful and informative. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel down below for future videos. Please leave a comment if you have any questions about the products I mentioned in today's video. Leave suggestions down below, especially during this time of year, how we can keep our skin well hydrated and comfortable. I would love to read about it, and I'm sure anyone watching this video would love to as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. Stay tuned for a morning skincare routine, and I will see you all soon. Ciao.